Well, hello there, my fellow Doombots and Latverian citizens. Today we are going to be talking about the latest film in the DCU, or actually the first film in this installment of the DC Cinematic Universe, as created by James Gunn himself, who also directed this first movie into this franchise, or what they hope to be a bunch of superhero movies under the DC umbrella. Superman, directed by James Gunn. And in the beginning of this Doom view, as I like to call it, I'm not going to any spoilers, so don't worry about that if you don't want to get spoiled. I'm not going to spoil you, but when I do start talking about spoilers, I will let you know, because that's going to be on the second half. So, to begin with, I rewatched those early 70s and 80s Superman movies to get ready for this, because from the music, from how the posters looked, it was not a secret that James Gunn was taking inspiration from those earlier movies, and those movies had a really positive tone. They were colorful, they were kind of campy, and I think that James Gunn did a great job of taking what you remember from those older movies, if you've ever seen them, and translating them really well to this film right here. And I gotta say, I really loved this movie. This is my favorite Superman movie by far. It just feels like a comic book. From all of the characters in it, nothing is over explained. It is just bringing you into this world. It's literally like you're opening a comic book and you're just there, and that's what I really loved about it. It's not holding your hand, it's not over explaining stuff, it is just what it is, and I really love this film, particularly David Cornsweet as Superman and Clark Kent. Just amazing casting. I've never seen David Cornsweet in anything, but James Gunn, or whoever casted him, made the perfect choice to cast David Cornsweet. He was great in this film. Also, Lois Lane's Superman's counterpart, really well. The foil to Superman, oh my god, Lex Luthor. I hated Lex Luthor so much in this film. Nicholas Hoult did such a great job. Mr. Terrific was terrific. Green Lantern, freaking really funny. Hawkgirl, awesome. I just really loved the cast in this film, and it looked nice. The animation or the fight scenes were great. The choreography was great. The camera work was just amazing. Like, James Gunn had a vision for this film, and I think he executed on it perfectly. I have no complaints whatsoever about this film. I really, really loved it. But yeah, overall, I gotta say that this has to be like the best Superman movie I've ever seen. I think this is going to be the best superhero movie of this year. This year, of course, we had Captain America: Brave New World, a movie that I did enjoy, but I understand that people say that it has its weak points. I do agree with that. We had Thunderbolts, which was pretty good, but this just steps it up a whole notch. Overall, I just gotta say that this movie was a great time in the cinema. The action was great. The actors in this film were amazing. Particularly Nicholas Hoult and David Cornsweet were, of course, the standouts. I just really enjoyed this film. I do recommend you go watch this in the theater, but for now I want to get into spoilers because I just want to talk about this. So the film opens with, there's a fictional war that Superman has stopped. Okay, so Superman has stopped, and basically, like, the war is basically like Russia invading Ukraine in this film. That is what it is. Like, I think its country is Boravia, and it's invading Yugopor. Correct me in the comments what the name of the country is. And Superman stopped the conflict, and as a result, Boravia has sent a meta-human, like a android robot type thing, to defeat Superman. And it is able to defeat Superman for some reason. It is so strong that it just beats the snot out of Superman, and it beats him so bad that Superman has to go back to the Fortress of Solitude to get basically healed by the power of the sun. I think they even released the scene. I didn't watch it, but he gets healed by his robot helpers, who were pretty dope, by the way. I thought that they looked awesome. But while after he's healed, he also has revealed where the location is of the Fortress of Solitude, because he was being followed by the engineer, who is like this girl who has like nanotech abilities and can transform into any stuff that she wants, and she can hack stuff with her like fingers, like Venom in the Venom 2 movie. Or no, yeah, well, I think it was Venom, or it was Carnage. I remember Symbiote was like hacking the internet with his tentacles, and that's also something that the engineer can do. This is something that she does later in the film. But she tells Lex Luthor where the location is of the Fortress of Solitude. You know, the Hammer of Bravia defeats Superman once again in Metropolis, and while Superman is laying on the ground, a guy who owns a falafel stand helps Superman up. Lex Luthor sees it, and he's gonna use it against him later, which was pretty messed up. I gotta tell you, Lex Luthor in this film is so freaking diabolical and evil. Like, you cannot do anything but hate this dude. But yeah, there's also this really good scene after this where Superman gets interviewed by Lois Lane, and Lois Lane's hitting him with like pretty straight up questions, like, you were like stopping a war, you were doing it in the name of the United States, or basically that is what it looks like to the rest of the world. And how did he actually stop the world? By taking the president of Baravia and putting him on a cactus and making him piss himself. So basically, like, showing a different perspective from what Superman is actually doing, because what he is actually doing is he is committing a war crime in a sense. And Superman's response to this is, I was trying to save innocent life, and I was not acting on the name of the United States of America. I was just acting on the name of goodness, because that is what my parents have told me. Because, yeah, when Superman is hurt, because you all saw that he was hurt, you saw it in the trailers, he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and to ease him into it, they always play this message from his parents. And the message of his parents is basically, we sent you to this planet to do good and to live amongst the people, or at least that's how Superman interpreted it. Oh yeah, and something crazy. His father is played by freaking Bradley Cooper. I didn't expect that at all. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty insane. So that's the first member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, because Bradley Cooper, of course, played Rocket Raccoon, who has been introduced into the DCU. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Lex Luthor now knows where the Fortress of Solitude is, because the engineers found the location. He puts up a distraction for Superman by like releasing this kaiju baby, like a little baby kaiju turns into a gigantic Godzilla type creature that is destroying Metropolis, and Superman is fighting this thing, but he cannot defeat it on his own. And then the Justice Gang show up, and the Justice Gang is Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern with a really bad haircut, Mr-Terrific, some kind of Tony Stark, Batman type of dude who has like these nanopod things, and the last person is Hawkgirl, who is just basically like a female version of Thor, but instead of a hammer, she's like a ball with spikes on a stick, and she has wings. And together they defeat the kaiju. And what I really liked about this film is how Superman is constantly trying to save anything and everything he can. Like in this fight scene, he's always thinking about saving people. That's his number one priority. Sometimes when you watch these superhero movies, they're fighting these bad guys and there's all of these casualties, and it doesn't look like the heroes are really trying to save people. But you always see in this film that Superman's going out of his way to save kids, elderly women. He even saves a freaking squirrel and a dog from being squashed by this kaiju. He thinks that all life on Earth is precious, and that is just exactly what Superman should be and what he should embody. And for that reason alone, this has to be like the best Superman movie. Which, yeah, of course, he also does it in other movies, but I just think that they did a great job at it. But I'm going on a tangent. Let's go back. But while Superman and the Justice Gang are busy defeating this freaking kaiju, Lex Luthor, together with the engineer and it turns out that the Hammer of Baravia, who just defeated Superman, is actually Ultraman. No surprise there. And with his girlfriend, who's always taking selfies of herself, they all go to the Fortress of Solitude, and the Fortress of Solitude just opens up. Spoiler alert, the reason why is because Ultraman is a clone of Superman, basically some Perfect Cell stuff, because Lex Luthor was like getting all of his DNA after every Superman fight, and then he made a clone. It's basically like the story of how Cell got made. But yeah, they destroy all of the robots, and they kidnap the dog of Superman, and they find the message that is telling Superman, "We love you, son," and like it got corrupted or something. But the second part of this message is pretty messed up, because it actually says, "We sent you here, Kal-El, because you can rule over this planet and basically become its ruler." Some like Voltramite type of stuff, like in Invincible. Like that's basically what the purpose was of sending him there, was to get multiple wives and then start like his own dominance over the planet Earth. And this really shakes Superman to the core, because he's like, it has to be a deep fake. This is actually a pretty cool callback, because I do think that there is a comic book called Superman Legacy where Lex Luthor uses fake, he has like fake information. He makes it look like there's actually a Kryptonian invasion. Superman's leading it against the normal people of Earth. But here it is actually the real words of the people. It's not a deep fake of the parents, but it is actually Bradley Cooper saying like, yeah, you're just gonna take all of these wives and you're just gonna rule over the planet Earth, and you're gonna make it basically the new Krypton. But yeah, this message makes it so that Superman gets arrested by the government, but he actually doesn't go to a prison of the government. He goes to a prison that is run by Lex Luthor, and he has a freaking interdimensional prison where he has a bunch of people who he doesn't like freaking ex-girlfriends, people who like didn't pour his wine properly sometime. Like Lex Luthor is so freaking petty. He has like all of these cells that are like glass boxes next to each other. It's like straight out of a comic book. Probably it is from a comic book, and it's so petty. And Superman is locked in a cell together with Metamorpho, and Metamorpho has the ability to transform into anything he wants to. He can transform into any substance he wants to. And because Lex Luthor has the child of Metamorpho, he's making Metamorpho transform into kryptonite so that Superman cannot break out of this prison. So that's how he's holding him there. And there's this, in the prison, there's this really messed up scene where there was a guy who helped Superman earlier in the story, helped him up, and Lex Luthor brought him here to this prison and is standing in front of Superman's cell and basically is telling him like, you're gonna answer my questions, and if you don't, I'm gonna play Russian roulette with this random dude. And it's really messed up, because at the second question he asks Superman, who are your parents? Who are the people on Earth that raised you? And Superman doesn't answer him, and because otherwise Lex Luthor is gonna kill his parents. And then he shoots the guy right in front of his face. It was crazy, man. Lex Luthor was super evil, and there's a bunch of other moments in this film like, damn it, man, crazy, man. Nicholas Hoult in this film, just aura farming when he walks into the Fortress of Solitude. Super petty. He uses people. He is such a douchebag. I'm so happy that at the end of the movie he got mauled by Krypto. We'll get to it later. Metamorpho feels super bad after Lex Luthor shot this. I think he was selling like matzo balls or something. Shoots this guy, Mali, his name was, I think. And Metamorpho stops doing kryptonite, but Superman's still weak, so he makes like a sun out of himself, like sunlight, so that Superman gets strong again. Superman frees the baby Joey, like such a cute little baby. And they escape. They almost get into a black hole, because because Crypto is Crypto in this movie is also another menace, man. Crypto was such a menace, like an uncontrollable, insane wild dog. Crypto was also really good in this film. Where was I? Yeah, so they break out of the prison with Mr. Terrific, and Superman's kryptonite poisoning. He goes to the farm, and there's this really beautiful scene where Superman is talking to his father, not his biological father, and he has this talk about how sad he is that he doesn't know who he is anymore because he thought he was sent here by his parents to make humanity better, and now it turns out that he was there to rule them and like decide everything for everybody, and he just feels really bad about it. And what his father tells him is, you are not here. You are not what your parents want you to be, and your parents are also not there to decide who you are. But you are the choices that you make. That was a really beautiful scene. Like, that was really well acted. I thought it was a really beautiful scene. So yeah, of course, Superman. It has to go back to Metropolis because freaking Lex Luthor did something crazy. He opened the portal again, which broke the interdimensional loop, and yeah, Lex Luthor does something crazy, like literally cracking open the entire Earth. I don't know exactly what is happening. I think it's like a tear in the dimensions, some crazy multiversal kind of stuff. But Superman, of course, eventually stops him. But he has this really crazy fight with the Engineer and with Ultraman. And eventually, after defeating the Engineer, that was a nasty scene. She was like putting her tentacles into his freaking lungs and stuff. Oh, that was freaking gross, man. I was trying to hold my breath, but oh, that was crazy. Eventually, you find out that, I already said this, that Ultraman is a clone of Superman, and Superman defeats Ultraman, and Ultraman gets sucked into a black hole that was created by the rip in the dimension that Lex Luthor caused. And personally, I think that character is going to be Bizarro, because at least that would be a good setup. It would be a layup slam dunk for James Gunn to do something like that. Maybe he's gonna use it, maybe not. What do I think of that he used just a clone of Superman? I guess so. It is something that we haven't seen yet before, and it is really something comic booky and something that Lex Luthor would do. Would have been cool if it was a different villain or something like a cyborg Superman also, but I don't mind that it did the clone. I also thought it was pretty cool that Superman was also fighting Lex Luthor in a way, because Lex Luthor was like literally saying like A10, B24, and every number and letter together was like a punch or a fighting move. It was basically like Lex Luthor was playing like UFC on the PlayStation or something. It was pretty funny, and also pretty cool because they had a whole setup with like esports gamers. They were all like, don't you think that one guy would be better because there was one person per arm and per leg? I think like if you have just one really good gamer who can really kick ass in Smash Brothers, he could do a better job than 20 people all pressing one button for one arm. But yeah, that's my opinion, I guess. But yeah, Superman defeats Lex Luthor in his evil plan, and he's telling Lex Luthor about it. You gotta be a good person, all that stuff. And out of nowhere, freaking Crypto shows up and is just mauling Lex Luthor, freaking Loki style at the end of Avengers, and that was so satisfying because fuck Lex Luthor, man. That guy really sucked, man. That guy was such a horrible person in this movie. Yeah. And at the end, Supergirl shows up. Yeah, I liked it. It was a fun movie. Had some fun cameos. Peacemaker showed up also. The post credits, nothing really happens. I think the last thing in the movie is Supergirl. That's the most important thing. I think that this was a solid start for the DCU. I think that this is a really great superhero movie. I think this is a really good comic book movie. Might be the best comic book movie I've ever seen. Like a movie that feels like it is in a comic book. I really do recommend that you go watch this one for sure. I'm gonna check it out tomorrow again. I'm gonna be making at least a couple more videos about this, talking about specific subjects, but I just wanted to tell y'all what I thought of this movie, and I really thought that this is a great movie. It's a good Superman movie, a good superhero movie, and yeah, stuff like Superman kissing Lois Lane. You know, that's also something you don't really see in Marvel movies. It feels a step above, you know, what we've been getting so far, and that is saying a lot because I really enjoyed the last couple movies. I enjoyed the last Captain America, even though it got mixed reviews, and also enjoyed Thunderbolts, but this one is better. I don't think that Fantastic Four can keep up with this. I also watched freaking this movie, Jurassic World 25, or whatever the frick that was. That movie was horrible. I didn't want to do a review for that. But next up is going to be Fantastic Four First Steps. For sure I'm going to be doing a video about that. Also check out my songs. I'm making a bunch of diss songs on Fantastic Four right now because the MCU, you know, you guys gotta listen to Doombot, your favorite Doombot, Bumbleclot, because I'm telling you, you's gotta put Doctor Doom in that movie, because if you don't, I'm coming for you. Overall, I really like the film. Superman, and I do recommend that you go check it out yourself. Let me know in the comments down below. What was your favorite moment in the movie? Have you seen it? Have you not seen it? Are you gonna watch it? Have you boycotted this film because you're a crazy Snyder fan or whatever? Yeah, just let me know. There were also some theories that the person behind the mask was gonna be Henry Cavill. That would have happened. I think that would have been a far reach, but I thought that the clone was pretty good. But I'm going on way too long. Gotta post this. Gotta go to bed. Do what out and have yourself a happy Doomsday.